spinning Bowser off the edge, kissing Peach in first person, racing straight by Wario. These are the dreams of a Nintendo VR hopeful. But according to Nintendo France head honcho Philippe Lavoué, we're not getting that. What's going on, everybody? It's Zach from Switch Wars. Gabe is here, and guys, girls, Nintendo is up to different things. 4K, VR, that is not where consumers are at, and so that's not where Nintendo's at, and that was detailed in a very interesting interview with Nintendo France man.
Zach,
Yes.
I think we're going to differ a little bit on opinion here. Maybe you should read the interview, the excerpt here, so we can have a little bit of context.
Yes, okay. Some of his comments are, if you look at VR headsets, I doubt they can appeal to the mainstream. Consumers are not patient with entertainment if you're not able to deliver an all-inclusive package. And referring to the fact that you need like a PC, there's a whole lot of cords, there's a whole lot of just extras and things like that. You got to set up a lot. He says, as far as 4K is concerned, is it useful to invest in a technology that has not been adopted by the majority? Where are 4K TVs now? Is it a good idea to invest in technology before consumers do? We can't invest in everything, and what novelty would we bring compared to our competitors? If we do the exact same thing than everyone else, we're bound to die because we are smaller than them. With the Switch, we offer different uses, adapted to players' pace of life. Its advantage is being able to fit into your daily life.
Okay. What is he talking about? That's the main thing here for me. How is Nintendo smaller than Xbox and Sony? I don't believe them.
I don't think that's who he's referring to.
Who's he referring to when he says that they're smaller so they would
Well, okay,
die?
let's okay. Nintendo is smaller than the entirety of Sony.
Oh, sure.
And I think he's, TV division wise, maybe he's referring to the fact that they don't have the same investment in that kind of tech. And so, like, pushing specs is not their bread and butter. And so if they try to do it, it would come across as a weak attempt.
I mean, possibly.
I think the takeaway there is what novelty would we bring compared to our competitors. That's always been important to Nintendo, regardless of the changing of the guard that we've had recently in terms of their new president and whatnot over in Nintendo Japan. That has always been their MO. That has always been their focus, and I think that continues to be their focus. The Switch, luckily, leaps far beyond gimmick, but it still is a novel idea, right? And to me, that is why Nintendo does not pursue these things. Plus, I think that the 3D on the 3DS showed Nintendo that trying to be at the forefront of tech doesn't always work, and in some cases, just flat out stinks.
Shout out to the Xbox One X. But, to answer a little bit of his questions here, he says, where are 4K TVs now? They're being widely adopted. They are really, really cheap. I see 4K TVs for like $200, $300 now, like all the time. Especially at this time of year when, A, Super Bowl is happening, B, they're trying to clear last year's models for the new ones. So I think people are adopting 4K TVs at a rapid pace. Now, is it widely adopted? I don't have that information. But it is way more prevalent than it had been.
Yes.
But I guess for the next console, like, it's just so difficult when, right, the next generation, 4K is going to be the thing. It's going to feel weird to still be on 1080 with Nintendo. Like, I mean, even now they don't hit 1080, so I guess, like, we'll be fine as long as the games are good. I truly believe that. But a small part of me does wish that they would, maybe not 4K, but at least like 1440p, give some parity. Like, advance a little bit, because their advancement in graphics have been so slow. Like, from the Wii to Wii U, it was just an HD thing, and now from the Wii U to the Switch, like, the difference is there, obviously, but it's not as notable as, like, hey, 1080p to 4K. So I kind of wish that they would buy into that a little bit and figure out a way to Nintendo-fy it so it is, like, unique and it is different than everybody else. But,
right.
Yeah, I don't know how they do it.
Yeah, and, Nintendo, I don't feel like they add technology-based things to their platforms. Like, maybe if that was the entire idea, right? If VR was the entire concept behind the system, sort of like 3D was for the 3DS. And look, just to be clear, I know that there are some games that really took great advantage of the 3D, and the fact that Nintendo was able to do it without glasses is remarkable. But it clearly did not work in the way that they planned because they basically eliminated it from future iterations, right?
Yes. Detective Pikachu is not in 3D.
And many games aren't. The 2DS is now a thing, and the 2DS XL is a thing. 4K TV penetration is growing, but it's not that high. I don't know the latest data, but I've seen things in the range of like 15%-ish, which...
I'm sure that's grown.
We'll see. I think the more interesting thing here is that the Switch, to me, just affirms for Nintendo that their all-along plan to pursue what they feel is interesting and gives games and gamers the best way to play finally paid off, and that they didn't need to go spec heavy. And it'll be really interesting to see how the end of the back half of this generation pans out for Sony and Microsoft. Does the dedication to specs and to superpower benefit them, or do the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X die out quickly and we see a new generation take hold faster than expected? And Nintendo just isn't going to play that game.
Yeah, and VR is the thing that I'm happy they're not going to get into. I don't like VR. I don't believe in it as a gaming platform, although it is probably the future. I will concede that. But I've tried VR multiple times. I don't find it fun. I don't want to go backwards and have games look like ugly just because I can have a headset on my head and look around. I am not a believer in VR. I know a lot of people are, so I'm kind of happy about that part.
Yeah, and I don't personally think VR is the future. I think, Vive debuted at CES, this far more powerful headset that is going to lead to the ability for wireless enjoyment. But I think, if anything, the slow adoption of VR and the lack of major titles has proven that, just like Philippe here says, we're not ready for it. People don't want it enough. And why should Nintendo double down in something that is not... I mean, how the heck are they going to sell 100 million VR units? They're not. But they can sell 100 million Switch, and so I like where his headspace is at, and I'm sure he's echoing, company sentiment. I don't think this is just a Nintendo France thing. But let us know your take in the comments down below. How do you feel about Nintendo's now more public rejection of 4K and VR? Not to say that they couldn't adopt in the future, but as of right now, they are not looking to upgrade or iterate in that way. Let us know your take. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fantastic day. Link to the article in the description down below. Make sure to subscribe to stay up to date on all the latest and greatest from the Switch and cool guys like Philippe. Until next time, for myself and Gabe, Switch Force out.